Red Tribe did very well. We were very successful in the challenges. We won the challenges today. I guess the championship. A lot of that was just being able to like assess a challenge and say, all right, who needs to do what? How can we turn this to our advantage? What works, what doesn't, and sort of assess that before. So we were able to like navigate some of those trial and errors before the challenge even happened. And it was something probably because I've been through the game before and maybe even played Survivor that I'm just good at. And I think that Red Team reaped the benefit of that. And it was a good team. They're a very athletic, smart group of people. And it was cohesive because you tend to bond. But it was hard for me because we had just a uncommon chemistry, I think, even for this game or any game. And to be honest, I didn't really feel a complete camaraderie with anybody. And I would like to make some new friends. I guess my only bad vibe would be from Greg, just because he's a gamer and those people are dangerous. And predators, no predators. Jack and I will do fine. I think Jack's just a little naive. Maybe I'm understating his gameplay because he's only 18. But honestly, I'm the only survivor here, and we did so well in challenges that I just get this vibe that I'm gonna be gone very, very soon. And I'm trying to play out of it, but we'll see. I think green looks really good and really cohesive, so I look for them to kind of regroup. So I guess, and then Greg on blue, because blue was a train wreck of a tribe. They couldn't win anything. But Greg is a very good player, so if it were me, I would get rid of Greg and probably try and get rid of green people and then just deal with like whoever. I don't know.
Okay.
This is going to be really hard. The reward was just like on Survivor, where not so because it's been 24 hours since we hadn't eaten, which is still everyone's hungry because it was a rough day. Nobody got any sleep, so your reserves are really low. And we walk up and they had a wooden dock all decked out with tiki torches and sloppy joes, cookies, fruit, lemonade, iced tea, and we just ate too much and just had a nice time. They had an idle clue, and Bill Weibel ended up finding it, so good for Bill. And he was very happy about it and had kind of some emotional moments there at dinner, and it was nice. You're going to find some strong people who bonded better than Red Team did. Now, Red Team says they're going to stick together, but I don't believe it. I don't think they will.
I mean, we started the day off third place finish, which it was okay, but then we cranked it up a little bit. Had that basketball challenge where I was on fire, so that got us a win. Morale at Appeasy was pretty good, especially when the sun came out a little bit. We were just feeling good, and that was kind of the story of the day. Finally won the whole reward thing, got a nice feast. And then my dumbass, it's like, we need some volunteers. I was like, I'm a little bit bored, so I'll volunteer for this. With volunteers, you're probably gonna get some of the harder players. So I can kind of sense that we have some of those harder players. So this might be like a more strategic tribe. So I'd say my spot in Appeasy was pretty good. I had a really solid relationship with Justin.
Okay.
I'd say we were kind of the top. Okay. It wasn't we didn't really expect to go to tribal council together, so it wasn't a huge dynamic, and we all liked each other. And we were working with Courtney and Maria, so that's how the dynamic on my tribe. I felt that's why I like my tribe a lot, because we Justin and I, we kind of realized we could be threatening, so we agreed to pair up. And then Maria and Courtney, they both can't out of the girls here, I think they're two of the stronger strategic girls, but we thought they would be fairly loyal to us to a point, so that's someone I wanted to work with. And then Bill seems super loyal guy. With Jill here, while I like her and I enjoy talking to her about her experiences in the past as well, probably not an ideal match, because out of our three girls, she's probably has the biggest personality, plus she's a former survivor, plus now people are gonna be looking for allies, and I think she and I could stick out so far in this tribe. I think there's some pretty good guys that I can work with, Greg, who I already know from his time in Change thing at Ohio State. I've talked to him once or twice. I don't think he really knows me that well, but Bryce also seems like a good dude.
Okay.
So for me, it's just kind of buddying up with another duo, and then perhaps we could get those three guys and then kind of get the girls on our team along for 6 just to start it off. I think we'll win a lot of, we'll be pretty good in challenges because we don't have any of the old guys. There's 3 old guys dispersed between the other 2 tribes. And we just have a lot of fit people when Bill found it. And we kind of all agreed it's for our group. So if I feel like I'm in trouble tomorrow, apparently I can get it from him. It's kind of good to know Bill has it, because he's not going to be too crafty with it, I don't think. just because we were beating the other tribes
Crapping.
thoroughly. We were crapping upon the other tribes. Yeah, we basically like turned them around, just like, you know. It was even though we only won by 2, but you know, I gotta get cocky. I think that's good because out of all the yellow tribe guys, I thought Bryce seemed like a pretty chill guy, but also like he seems like he knows what's going on. And we were talking. I was like, we should talk later. He agreed. Like for me, I don't really dislike the yellow tribe that much in particular. Probably I dislike the green tribe more. He said they didn't really like us that much, but if there was anyone on the tribe you want to work with, it was me and Jill. I mean, could be just saying that. But I mean, the fact that he was open and saying that he didn't really like our tribe, you know, there's probably some truth to the fact that he preferred us over the others. And then in this tribe, I'm not gonna call any names out, not gonna introduce anything, just kind of like be nice to everyone, be like, oh, I got your back. There's like 2 types of people I want to work with. Right now, there's like the smart players, the ones who I think can win because I need them as like shields. And then there's the ones who are loyal and won't do anything because I need them to manipulate other people with.
If there's ever a time that I understood like when people quit in this game, it was last night. And I just imagine how sometimes they do that like 3 nights in a row, and like it makes sense to me why it wears them down. Camp was on a slope, so we were sleeping sloped. I had to keep my feet propped up all night long to make sure I didn't slide. So that was just uncomfortable. I was freezing. There was just rain constantly, and then I had somebody laying on my arm right here, so my arm I think got more sleep than I did. It just was asleep like most of the night. Aaliyah, which was kind of just, I think she just felt most comfortable with me, which was fine. I really don't like cuddling or like people sleeping on me, so it was really just one of those things that I figured is probably beneficial for me or the game or whatever. Everybody had potential for an ally. Everybody also had a potential for somebody that would get on my nerves. At the very beginning of the game, when I looked around at who was sitting around me, Adam stuck out to me. Just because if there's anybody who I thought was similar age and just chill, it was him. The pretty pageant girl, Leah, and from the very beginning, I wasn't sure about that, but she turned out to be somebody that I got along with. Like, I wasn't going to go too hard too fast. So making anything the first night was really, unless it popped up, it wasn't going to be a priority. I just wanted to be here, figure it out, enjoy the night, whatever. But I made a pact with Adam, just vibes. I did get a single one-on-one with Brianna, which wasn't something that I was initially thinking I would, but everybody else had left our camp. She and I were making the fire, and it was the only time I had where I could actually spend time with somebody. So I just decided to try to get something going there, and it seemed like Adam, her, and then me and Leah were kind of like pairs. I think I could have worked with anybody, but there is also that chance that everybody else is viewing me in a different way that I'm not expecting. So I was just scared for this moment. I don't like swaps. I think if there's anything that's going to really screw me over, it's a swap. I already have Jack saying he wants to talk with me later. I am with Jill, who, when I saw her, she's exactly like the person that if I was going to align with a type, it would be her. She's just proven a lot of loyalty. I've not had a chance to talk to her. I think she naturally appears a little more standoffish, so I'm kind of going to take that one in stride. And if I can get in more with Jack, I feel like maybe I'll get in more with her.
Okay.
But then I had Desiree and Evan both pull me aside, and they're immediately like, we want you. I don't want to ever be afraid to vote somebody out. So just because somebody comes to me first, I don't want that to be the be-all, end-all. Just because I came here with Rachel, and I like Rachel, I don't want it. If she doesn't align with me where I want to go, I don't want to protect her or anybody else or not be willing to vote them out for that reason. But again, I don't want to stand out too much, so I need to kind of figure out how to draw a lot of my personality back as well. So I'm kind of just trying to sit in the middle right now. I have people who want to talk to me, and that's a good sign for me.
Okay.
Because people are wanting me as opposed to me asking them, which means I must give off something that people like, and that's a good place to be. It seems like each pair is pretty much sticking together, which would make sense, but I'm going to spend my time kind of like I talked to Evan, and he's asking me what pair I'd want to work with and which one I'd want to get rid of kind of thing, and I don't have an answer for that yet. I have not talked to either of the people on the blue team at all, whereas I've at least interacted with both Jack and Jill now.
Okay.
So I'm more inclined to go with red if that comes to be. I don't care. It was just a fun way to like put some narrative into the game. I even told Jack on the way over here, I said, we considered you guys like our rivals just because you stole our pot.
Yeah.
Like right out of the gate. And I know it's kind of one of those things that honestly, if they were allowed to then circle back around to steal another item, they probably would have gone for somebody else, even though we had established that we wanted to go for the tarp. And if we could get a second one, go for the second one. And yet she popped up and decided to grab a pot. So it's like we gave up our tarp, our coverage, for a pot that then got taken from us later. So it was just frustrating for us that the red tribe had to take from us, and then when we went to them to try to barter for one of their 2 tarps, it made sense why they said no, especially because all we really could offer was a little bag of rice and some fruit. But it was just really frustrating. It was like we were already down, and then we got the pot gone. So it was just this little narrative that we kept putting in, and then they were doing well in the challenges, so we really were just rooting for like other people to win, I guess. So no, as far as red goes, no. I mean, there's no like bad blood there, but it was just like a fun narrative for us.
Okay.
And probably somebody to just blame and curse at in the night when we have no coverage and we're all shriveling wet.
When we did the ladder challenge, I told the guys last night, we were all laying there shaking and freezing and just saying what we thought we were strongest at. And I said I can untie knots because my son ties knots in all of our stuff at home. So I've been untying knots for like 4 years. So I said in that ladder challenge, they already knew I could untie knots pretty well. They just said, you're going last. But then during the challenge, we were behind and we got ahead, and I actually got up there and I couldn't, my fingers were so wet, I couldn't, like, my nails weren't working. They were just not hard enough to like untie it, and I was almost freaking out that I was gonna blow it for our tribe, and then I ended up getting it. When we had the balancing blocks, there was miscommunication between what we were supposed to do and the actual rules of the challenge. And so we were ahead, and then I was told that I had to like let go of the rope, and all the other tribes, the last person on the left side, they were allowed to hold on to it, and so we ended up going from first to last, and it was just like a miscommunication with our spotters. Adam got really upset because we asked if I could go back in, and our spotters said no. We asked twice, and all the other tribes, their second to last person was going in, and so we ended up losing, and Adam got really mad. Evan told this group that Adam was really upset, and he was really here for the challenges, and he's really high intense, and I'm not exactly sure how that's going to help me if I get switched back in with him. I felt like I was in a really good position on my first tribe, and I knew it wasn't gonna stay. When you guys came in, said pick 2 people, we could all tell Evan wanted to go. Hannah, like the girls, we kind of like, I don't know, didn't really care so much, but I could tell Kathy didn't really want to go. And then Hannah, I think she wanted to come, but the thing is, Dion, myself, and Kathy have like we had a really strong bond. I mean, Evan thought he was with me like solid, so I can just do that now. When we were on our original game tribe, we really liked blue, but since coming here, I just clicked with Bryce for some reason. He was original yellow tribe, and I also have a connection with Rachel from the paddle challenge, and we have the whole idol thing, and so I feel more comfortable going with yellow. I've been watching blue and red, and they also seem really tight, and I've tried to talk to Jen and Greg. Greg's a hard worker, so he just basically set up our whole camp.
Okay.
And Jen has kind of just, every time I go by her, she'll just walk away. And so I'm just not feeling good vibes from her, even though this morning we had like a bathroom alliance with Blue. And I don't know, but tonight she was just being sketchy.
Ago worked so well together in challenges, and we were like neck and neck with the top
team. We lost by like 1 point, but we got the second place prize, which was 3 apples, like this giant muffin thing. We also found blackberries, so we were foraging for food, and then we had fire, so like the sun was out, so it was a great, after suffering for, 24 hours, it was a great turn of events. One of the challenge decisions didn't go in our favor, but we definitely understand that things happen. We probably could have definitely got first if that didn't happen. So they got a nice dinner, I guess, so it wasn't anything super special. I was actually really proud of how I did. I feel like every single challenge I did really well, because I'm like the strategy. What do we do for each challenge? The stair step one had a strategy to divide the pieces. So I had the strategy and I went first and I wasn't following it and I was grabbing the wrong pieces and we were behind. But then like after everyone else had a couple stair steps and I was still trying to find a piece, I just divided everything and we got rolling, and then we actually took the lead and we won that challenge. Throughout the days we have interacted with other tribes. We like more in tribes that we like less. Ago, we're green, we're right next to the blue tribe. And the blue tribe is just a very positive, friendly tribe. So we kind of have that connection, and we kind of have like an alliance that of like, if there is a swap, let's have the blue and green stick together. Yes, and we can unite together. And yellow also, I don't really like them, but Bryce was the first person that like came to us and like, I like you guys, let's do this. And like go far. So we kind of have I think I can pull in blue, we have yellow, and we need to get the red out, because I was talking to Jill, Dr. Jill, and she is so sketchy. She was like, I'm not a game player, and it's like, you got to second place, you know how to play this game, you know how to make decisions, don't say, just tell me who to vote for, like, you know what you're doing. Jack, when we were on Ago, I didn't know his name, but we called him like the super friendly guy. So I like the guy, but if we're dividing kind of in colors, it's unfortunate. And I'm literally about to go, like, I'm gonna go take a nap, and Mike just strolls in and like, hey, you guys need to get a guy and a girl to leave. And I tried to dig for information, but he didn't say anything. We kind of looked around, and that was one of those, like, I want to go, but I don't want to go. I think my tribe kind of saw that and nominated me and another girl from our tribe. We went to this new place, and now we have a tribe. It was going so well. I had, like, my tier list. We had our 4, and then into a 3, then to the 2. We're definitely, if we're at Emerge, the green is, like, super united, I believe. I like everybody on the green tribe. I mean, we, of course, had our, like, first boot, second boot, third boot, fourth boot. Like, I have it all worked out in my mind. But now that we're here and it's like there's so many different aspects, it's kind of like the anybody but me strategy. So Bryce, I don't really trust you, I don't really trust Rachel, but if it's not me, let's go for it.
I think our group started out hard, like we were winning and we were doing great, and then something happened and we lost our mojo. We did not win the tarp that we wanted. On another tribe now, which I really like. The other tribe that I was on had a couple people who didn't like to work, so at least these guys got fire, we have a tarp, we have a place to sleep tonight, so I feel good with that. These people who we got linked up with, they were doing well in the challenges and they were getting along with each other as far as I could tell. The good thing for me is that the first challenge that we did yesterday, or the second, I happened to link up with Desiree. Her and I are in an alliance together, which no one knows about. I have a fake immunity idol and she has the real immunity idol, so hopefully we'll be able to work with that. I mean, there's no way it could be a permanent group. There's just too many people still involved, and I know that there's one other person that we need to link up with for our alliance, so this has to change again. Scott, who was on my tribe, who was with me when we got the fake immunity idol, Dion, who was with Desiree, we were all 4 together when we got the idol, so hopefully we all meet again. I really liked the swimming portion of it because I didn't have to use my brain. I just jumped in the water and I could swim. My prep was a little bit different because when I got the email, it was at about 12 o'clock Friday night, and I was getting ready to wake up at 5 in the morning to run a 50K through the mountains. So the timing was difficult for me because of the race that I had to do. That took me almost 9 hours to jump in the car and go home and prepare for this in 2 days. So, but that's I like to live on the seat of by the seat of my pants and just go from adventure to adventure.
The original Tatanka tribe struggled a lot. Came in last in points for all the reward challenges by a pretty significant amount. I wasn't that discouraged. I think it's not that we didn't work well together. I think the other tribes were pretty stacked themselves. There were just some things that we just came pretty short on, which was a bummer. I kind of figured that wasn't the tribe that we were going to go into the actual game with. Start strategizing and finding people to actually align with and make votes. After we get back to camp, there was just a vibe. I did not feel good at all, and that's surprising. I didn't expect to feel like that coming in. So as soon as the chance was given to possibly swap, I hesitated at first, and then Jen raised her hand. And Jen's someone who I think trusts me. I've trusted her, and it was her and Steven mostly. I think Laura's a badass, but kind of went off the deep end in terms of like trusting me, I think. I'm walking over with Jen, and she goes, "This is better for you. You're safe because you were in trouble over there." And I said, "I know I was." "Was it Laura?" And she says, "Yes." So they had all gone up to like go to the bathroom together, and I stayed behind with Steve. Looked at me, he said, "Can we talk?" I said, "Yeah, what's up?" Steven wanted to work with me, which I kind of figured just he had a history of like having watched Survivor Time and Change, which obviously I was the creator of, and it was a connection we shared in the beginning. I just felt like the other four were not on board with that, but Jen very hesitantly like was with that four that kind of went off. They just went to the bathroom while Steven and I went away. So kind of lucked out that Jen was kind of the floater in the middle there, and that's who I went with. The second she raised her hand, I kind of figured this is a chance I need to take because I don't feel safe here with Laura. I think I like the new Tatanka tribe a lot. There really isn't any clear lines that have been drawn yet. I think it's way too early to tell that. I know Jen and I already talked a little bit. We seem to like the two on red. Also really like Evan and Bryce too. First impressions, I don't know what they'll mean yet or if those are the people we end up working with. Jack, I think, has watched Survivor Time and Change, so he knows who I am. Jill obviously has just the reputation of being on Survivor. Desiree, we would like walk by the green team a couple times just like and go into challenges and whatnot, and she had introduced herself to me. I didn't know Evan, but Evan and I talked a little bit as we were like awaiting to hear whether or not these were our tribes. So I think I have a connection with a decent amount of people on this tribe, at least off the bat. I don't know. Maybe one of them is a Laura 2.0 and is threatened by me. Laura is. I really did like her. She's a badass, like I've been saying. Like she's good in challenges. She's competitive. She knows Survivor really well. And I respect that as someone who I think most of us here are like Survivor encyclopedias. I mean, we can mark off like who was the third elimination in most every season or some crazy stat like that. But she like knows her stuff. And we talked a lot about just the history of Survivor and what we've watched and what we liked. And I thought we connected. But at the same time, she's a big personality. I'm a big personality. I recognize that. I'm very, very type A. I'm very abrasive at times, and I recognize that. I'm self-aware enough to know that. And I don't think that kind of a personality matches up really well with Laura, because Laura is kind of almost that same way, a very competitive girl who, like, I'm standing in her way. And I know that. So I knew that she was threatened by me as soon as kind of that demeanor changed around camp when we were looking for the clue or whatever that note indicated earlier today. Things had changed, and my gut was telling me you're in trouble, and that was confirmed by what Jen told me. So I'm threatened by her because she's threatened by me, and if that's going to be something that affects the rest of the game, so be it.
One word in Cherokee is anali, and that means friendship. So that is the biggest thing that I pulled out of this. You don't know how close you can get to somebody until you're in the rain, cold, windy, no fire, sleeping on the ground. Like, you do not know what kind of bond you make with somebody until you go through something like that. And there's no other. I mean, I've met tons of people in my life, and doing this, the bond could not be any stronger. I feel like I've known these people forever. I'll tell you something. It's a little emotional to me, but my grandpa passed away in December, and he did so much in his life. He was so adventurous, and I admired that about him. And me coming out here and doing this was something that made me feel closer to him, and just being here did that. And that's one thing that is the most important to me that I can take from this, is that, like, it doesn't matter what, like, I can still feel close to him. Like I don't have to do anything special to be close to him, but coming out here proved to me that, you know, I just don't know how to explain it. Like it brought some kind of peace over me, in him going. My initial tribe, you know, I told them a little bit about why I have wanted to do this kind of an adventure, and they seemed to get it, you know, and it was the first thing that they saw real from me, because I'm a pretty guarded, just joking kind of person, you know, like to make people feel comfortable with me, but I don't ever get close to other people, and that's impossible here. Like I'm close with people and they're close with me, and I had a good tribe too, you know. On both tribes that I was on, I felt really comfortable in, you know, like everybody was so nice. And of course there's that I'm nice so you'll be on my side, but there was true, I mean, you can see past that. There's true people out there that just, I don't know, I'll be lifelong friends with, and no regrets for anything, because I came and I did it. You know, I didn't spend a whole lot of time with Jill, but the time that I did, I instantly felt a connection with her. She automatically was like, okay, who wants to share a blanket with me? And I'll share this with them. And I was like, oh, I'll share my blanket then, you know. And it was like, I knew she would be so comfortable to be with. And so I really felt an instant connection with her. John, oh, he has my heart. I love John so much. He may not be like the most social player, but man, he has the biggest heart, and he is so sweet. And if you do, I mean, he doesn't just come out and talk to you, but if you take the time to pull a conversation from him, he's got so much, and he's got so much love for his daughter, and there's just so much to him. There's so much to him, and you really, and that makes another life lesson. You need to get to know people. You know, like if someone's quiet, they have a story too. You wanna learn it. Greg, Laura, real close with them.
You still can have an influence on the game. Give me the name of one person in the game that you would like to see get an event.
Well, Greg. It's so tough. I want Laura to have it though. See, okay, let me tell you a little story.
Okay.
Laura, I made an alliance with just about everybody on my tribe in a different way. And I had a really good connection with Laura, but I saw how good she was, and I knew that she could probably win the entire thing. So then, once I realized she was gunning for Greg, because she told me, I was like, okay, I see you're getting all the strong players out. I don't know how well I'd win against you in the very end, because she's very good. And so I kind of snuck and told Greg everything that she said and wanted to get her out, but then we ended up switching tribes and it didn't even matter. But so I really Greg and I stuck together, you know, we were the two people that had to go away and go to another tribe by ourselves. And so, oh, this is so tough.
Game's hard even when you're out.
Okay, this hand is Greg. This hand is Laura. Pick a number 1 through 5.
4.
Laura. I love you, Greg. I'm sorry.